call on Government Order of the Day number 2.
Interrupted debate on the second reading of the Child Protection, Child Sex Offender Register Bill.
Members, the last time the House was debating the Child Protection, Child Sex Offender Register Bill, John O'Naylor had the call and he has 9 minutes and 30 seconds remaining to speak.
Talofa lava, Mr Speaker.
John O'Naylor.
Talofa lava. Mr Speaker, it's kind of quietened down a little now, really, hasn't it?
You can do it. You can do it.
Got some oxygen to use up. Look, Mr Speaker, it's a great pleasure to rise and talk on this Child Protection, Child Sex Offender Registration Bill. Mr Speaker, this is a bill that I think we've got to remember the paramountcy of this is the protection of children from recidivist offenders. And that is the primary reason that this bill is here. And the idea is that by having such a register, we can ensure that young people will be as safe as they possibly can be in our country. Now, over the course of the Select Committee process, there was a wide variety of submissions. Some people, of course, were suggesting that the register should be publicly available. Others were concerned that there was an impost on human rights for those who would be subject to these reporting conditions for the rest of their life, and others who felt that it was an ongoing punishment for people who had already served their time. And so the Select Committee weighed this up pretty carefully, and I think it was a good process. We were able to look at the pros and cons of all those things, and we were able to make a couple of changes, which I'll touch on in just a moment. But I think the important thing to convey to those people who were adamant that it needed to be a public register, I think what we can say is that by having this register, which is being held by the police and will be available to certain other agencies as required, we can still give the public some confidence that these people are known to the authorities, that they are being at least monitored to some degree, and that it doesn't need to be publicly available. And I think that we've got the balance about right in that. Now, just coming to some of the changes that were made through the Select Committee process, there was a bit of concern that for some people that this was to some degree a life sentence, that they wouldn't ever be able to be rid of these reporting standards. And so there has been some changes that have been brought forward and now part of the bill that would allow for those who are on this register to be able to apply for suspension of those reporting conditions after a period of 15 years. And I think that seems an appropriate balance. It gives them an ability to apply, and if they have been compliant, if they have been showing that there is very, very low risk of reoffending, then it enables those people to come off that register, not so much to come off the register, but to come off the requirements for reporting, and I think it's a good balanced approach to it. And I think the other thing that has come through, and again was sort of running parallel to the process of Dr. Zhang Yang's private members bill, which we managed to sort of incorporate in part into this bill now, was that if somebody is on this register, if they want to change their name, they will need to apply to the Commission of Police before they go off to DIA to want to change their name for any reason. And again, that provides a certain level of protection going forward. So, Mr Speaker, pleased to endorse the bill. I think it's come out of the Select Committee process in better condition than when it came in. I think that it's going to be a bill that's going to be useful to the people of New Zealand. It's going to be, I think, to help promote a greater level of safety from recidivist offenders, and I commend the bill to the House. Whawhatai.
Mr Speaker.
Call